Well, it now is 9:02. I think we might as well get started. We will continue to admit people. For those of you who have just been admitted into the room, we had people place their city, where they are coming, where they're located, into the chat. It's interesting to see the number of people that we have joining us today. This is a celebration. Around both Maggie and I, you see our sponsors. Today, multiple times, you will hear us thank our sponsors. We cannot say thank you enough because this event, for those of us that have worked on it, is a celebration. This is only a spot in time. We fully expect the future to be brighter because probably about 2 years ago, Maggie, Patty, we had Kelly Northridge from the Audacity Fund, we had Sheldon. There were a few of us and we had a live event at Great Basin College. Since that time, our group has expanded and our event has grown. We look forward to more people connecting with us, more people joining it, and actually giving rural Nevada the type of attention that it deserves. My name's George Klebb. I'm going to serve as your MC today. I'm going to go over some Zoom items. I realize most of us spend a lot of time in Zoom, but for those who are new, I just want to give you some general guidelines. Many of us in Frontier, Nevada, have internet issues. So when you're not speaking, please mute yourself. I happen to have Alberto Jimenez, our Director of Interactive Video at Great Basin College, with us today as a moderator, and he will also be able to mute people. But for courtesy, please remember to mute yourself. If you are a speaker, please remember to unmute yourself. The speaker, please keep your video on, but for the rest of us, it's not impolite to simply shut your video down. It helps those of us that have low bandwidth to be able to connect and hear the speakers. The other item that I wanted to go over is our sponsors. Startup NV was a sponsor early, Nevada Energy, the Nevada Governor's Office of Economic Development, NNRDA, the SBDC for Nevada, Audacity Fund, Northern Nevada Development Authority, the Osmond Center for Entrepreneurship, University of Nevada Cooperative Extension, and the Reno Sparks Tahoe Economic Development Authority, and the Nevada Department of Business Industry and Entrepreneurs Assembly. Without these people, we can't have this event. So please thank them when you see them, and this event will continue to grow. As far as our agenda for today, our welcome will be from Kate Marshall, who will soon be joining us. The keynote will be from Donna Bath and Silver Lion Farms. She will introduce her team. Funding will be handled by Kelly Northridge. Getting started will be Marcel Scheer from Nevada Department of Business and Industry. Marketing will be by Liz Goodgold from Red Fire Branding. We will have about a 45-minute lunch break. We also will come back at 1 o'clock with a panel discussion led by Sheldon Mudd from Northeastern Nevada Regional Development Authority. This panel discussion will be about things that we can do to support rural entrepreneurship. And at 2 o'clock, Maggie Saling will have our business pitch, which everyone is looking forward to. We have many qualified candidates. As far as other items, of discussion. I'm going to ask Maggie now to produce a poll. This is a simple poll. We do have an award called the Audience a Choice Award. So you need to select one of the items. And I tried to get Maggie to say all of the above, but she wouldn't do so. We will give that just a few more minutes, and then Maggie will share the poll results.
Maggie, your poll disappeared from the screen.
Did you answer it? I think it goes away after you answer it.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to answer it, Maggie, and it went away.
Okay, I'm relaunching.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, we've had a couple of minutes, but this is how we will be voting for our Audience Choice Award at the end of the day. At this point in time, we can end the poll. And it looks like
this time I'm sharing the results, but when it's the Audience Choice Award for the pitch competition, that'll be announced with the winners.
That's perfect.
Looks like Cheesecake wins.
Yep, exactly. Okay, at this point in time, I have the opportunity to introduce Kate Marshall, our Lieutenant Governor. Kate Marshall was sworn in as Nevada's 35th Lieutenant Governor on January 7th, 2019. Kate grew up in a working class neighborhood of San Francisco as the eldest of 6 children. She worked throughout high school and college, earning a bachelor's degree and a law degree from the University of California, Berkeley, with the help of scholarships, Pell Grants, and student loans. After serving with distinction at the Department of Justice, Kate was recruited by then Attorney General Frankie Sue Del Papa to come to Nevada and set up a state antitrust office as a senior deputy attorney. Kate was elected to the state treasury in 2006 and reelected in 2010. As treasurer, she got rid of no big contracts, off-the-book accounts, and reduced spending. This makes the government more efficient and identifying innovative methods to increase economic development for businesses in Nevada. Please join me in welcoming Kate Marshall, our Lieutenant Governor.
Kate, we can't hear you.
Now?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. Better there?
Just fine.
Yeah? Okay. Good. I am trying to, the other people working in the house. First off, I wanted to say that I am really honored to be part of this and part of it going forward. I think a lot of people put effort into organizing this. Patty Herzog was the person who asked if I would come and speak. We have Great Basin College and Startup Nevada, the Small Business Development Center, and the Nevada Cooperative Extension. And Maggie Saling, thank you also. Anyway, a lot goes into this, and I think a lot of times that we forget about or don't talk about or don't invest in our rural counties. And I think that one of the things that the pandemic has shown us is that there's a real opportunity here for Nevada to grow and expand in all its parts, especially with people being able to have more flexibility to choose where they live. And that really opens up opportunities in rural Nevada. But the thing is that the pandemic has really impacted small businesses in general. And so the more resources we can put and the more attention we can give to our small businesses, the better foundation we will have for our economy going forward. And the more we'll be able to move away from this boom and bust economy that Nevada is certainly well known for. I should tell you that I spend time in rural Nevada and visiting small businesses there, and I am always impressed with the resilience and the efforts, from an engineering firm I saw in Winnemucca to Fry Spirits in Fallon. I went to, some of these are new businesses and some of them are long-term businesses. I was at a soda fountain in Ely, which I think he's 4th generation there. And it's just, it's lovely to see. And I think if we can bring more attention both to the types of businesses that we have in rural Nevada and also to facilitating their ability to grow and expand, from small, like the soda fountain, although they just expanded, I think, to Eureka, to big, like the hemp farm, we can really expand and diversify and strengthen our economy from the ground up. So I just wanted to say thank you for doing this. I think it's really, really important and very, very valuable for our state going forward.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Marshall. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. Let's give a round of applause by Zoom for Kate Marshall, our Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. At this point in time, I have the opportunity and privilege to introduce Donna Bath, who's going to introduce the team from Silver Lion Farms. Donna Bath has extensive experience in small business development. She currently is the Director of Community Relations and Special Projects for Silver Lion Farms. In the past, she has worked as an economic development officer for Northeast Nevada Regional Development Authority and has recently joined the board. In the past, she also served as the Eastern Nevada representative for U.S. Senator Dean Heller in 7 rural Eastern Nevada counties. She has owned her own small business, Positive Solutions, as a consultant to the mining industry on public relations, government relations, and assistant in working with federal and state permitting. Please join me in welcoming Donna Bath to introduce the team from Silver Lion Farms.
Thank you so very much. And on behalf of Silver Lion Farms, we would like to thank GoEd, all the sponsors and the contributors for this opportunity to participate in this great event and also to be able to tell our story of Silver Lion Farms. Starting a business in this day and time certainly presents unique challenges. Starting a business in rural Nevada areas also add a different level of challenges. But as the gentleman that I will introduce to you today can attest, it can be done successfully, and it just takes a village. I wanted to go over what we will do today in our program. In our presentation, you will hear first from our founder and president, Guion Kalsa. He will give a background on how we got started and how he got to Ely. We will then play a short video to give you a visual of who Silver Lion Farms is. You'll then hear from our Vice President of Operations, Siri Kalsa, and he will tell you some of the challenges and obstacles that we've encountered in the last 2 years in getting Silver Lion up and going. You will then hear from our CEO, Bob Kierlerko, and he will speak to you about his experience in business startups and entrepreneurship. And then if we have time, we will take some questions. And we would really, again, sincerely like to thank you and encourage all the entrepreneurs out there to never give up. Rely on your village and make your town and community your tribe and your village. So having said that, I will take off my camera and introduce to you our president and founder, Guion Kalsa.
Good morning, everybody. It's a privilege for me to be here to speak with everybody today, especially in regards to small business and creating small business in the state of Nevada. For the past 3 years now, we've been working up here in White Pine County, outside of Ely, between Ely and Wendover. And I have to say, from the very beginning, thank you. Thank you to everybody that's on this Zoom chat. And thank you to all the representatives from the state of Nevada that's helped us on this journey of creating this farm here in Northern Nevada. One of the things that strikes me is when I'm sitting here thinking about how we started and how this all began, is that as a young entrepreneur, I've traveled the world looking at different products, particularly consumer products. And for 30 years, I created products, sold products, put products into every major grocery store and every big box store, Walmart and Target and Costco and all of the big grocery stores in the country, drug stores in the country. And as an entrepreneur, the thing that you're looking for is trying to find that piece of something that will help you to help others. So from the very beginning, when I started this process, my whole intention was to help millions of people. And I saw CBD as a potential health and wellness product, and hemp as a potential health and wellness product very, very early on when it was first coming into everyone's sphere, and it started to blow up all over the world, actually, not just in the United States. During that time, it was obvious to me that if we could help create the supply chain and the supply channel for something that could help millions of people with joint problems, with pain problems, with sleep problems, or PTSD problems or anxiety, we started to realize that the market was so vast and that so many companies were going to be putting this ingredient into their products because of the health and wellness benefit. And now with COVID, there's even more concern, and everyone's looking at their diet, they're looking at their health, they're looking at the way that they live their lives a little differently. And they're trying to find those natural ways to help heal themselves, to boost up their immune systems, to help with inflammation and pain in the body. And I started to look around for, okay, where could we put a large organic farm and really create a safe, secure supply chain that was a large enough size and scale and scope that we would be able to service the largest companies in the world, putting CBD in their products. And hemp in general is not just for health and wellness. We would actually like to help put together a hemp economic development council specifically for Nevada, and primarily because hemp has thousands and thousands of uses. And if you can grow it in rural areas, there's a lot of downline businesses that can be created from the farms outside of our smaller cities in Northern Nevada. So hemp can be used for bioplastics. It's very keenly being looked at by the automotive industry. And our friends at Tesla here in Nevada are also looking at hemp plastics and incorporating them. They're much stronger, they're much lighter than the more polyurethane chemical-based plastics that are out there. Hemp can also be used for paper products. It can be used for pet and animal products. It can be used for For medicinal products, it can be used for beauty products. It actually takes wrinkles away unbelievably in the skin. I'm 52 years old. We see that hemp can be used also for hempcrete and for building. And there's a lot of, I know that there's a huge housing demand in different parts of rural Nevada. And wouldn't it be great if we were actually growing the material that was building our homes right here, right outside of the cities that we want to build our homes in? The other thing is hemp actually is extremely positive for the environment and sucks tens of thousands of pounds of carbon out of the atmosphere. So when I started looking for a place to build this farm, I really wanted to make it a community event, a community related kind of farm. And I looked all over the United States for the right ground and the right space with the right kind of water, and Nevada kept coming up for me. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go up and look at this farm up in Ely, Nevada. I want to go check it out. I want to go see what this looks like. And I have to tell you, I hadn't spent almost any time in Northern Nevada. I hadn't spent any time here at all. And at first I was like, really, is there going to be enough water? Because you think of Nevada as such a desert. And my greatest experience was just driving back and forth between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. And there's so much more Nevada to see. That when I actually took this drive up here, I was literally blown away by the beauty of this particular place. And as soon as I drove through the gates, literally, as soon as I drove through the gates of this particular farm up here, I went, this is it. This is where we need to do this. And it was an instant, intuitive, blessed kind of feeling that this is the place to come and build this amazing farm that's going to help heal millions of people. So we purchased a little under 3,000 acres up here, and we began our project. We started to build a 255,000 square foot greenhouse, which will eventually be actually almost 400,000 square feet when it's fully completed, and the support buildings and other things that go with that. And Goed and Chris Sanchez and the people from the governor's office, our local White Pine County community, Sheldon and Donna, and all the people from the Ely City Council, and literally the building office, Senator Pete, everybody came out and welcomed us with open arms and really were interested in the concept of what we were doing and what we were building. And it was such a community that it reinforced all my belief that, yeah, that was it. This is the place to actually do this. So I would definitely recommend that when you get your businesses started, as you're getting your businesses started, reach out to your local community economic development people, reach out to your local city councils, reach out to the governor's office in economic development. There's a lot of people here that really are patriots of Nevada, and it's such a beautiful thing to see that they'll really help you. There's a lot of help here. There's a lot of outreach, and everybody is just so open and welcoming that it's just a beautiful thing. As I kind of got further into it, we experienced different issues and different problems, and my VP of Operations, Siri, will share some of those with you. There will always be certain challenges. All in rural areas, the three biggest challenges that we always face are the distance from certain things, how much it costs to truck things or move things. So transportation, rail, movement of goods and services, that's always important. Communication, like internet and fiber optics and those types of things, are extremely important. And we've just found that, and energy, of course, is actually extremely important. So we're very lucky to be actually doing business here in the state. We started off as kind of a smaller operation with the hopes and dreams to become a very, very, very large operation here in the state. But what we see is we want to help other companies as well grow within the state. We see a tremendous amount of opportunity here in the state. The amount of hemp that can be grown here that can help supply companies like Tesla for plastics, that can help supply companies like Patagonia for fiber and clothing and the like. We have the largest lime factories here in Nevada, that when you mix lime with hemp, it actually creates concrete blocks that you can build homes with, that have tremendous R28 to R38 insulation value, with no pests and no mold and no erosion whatsoever, and very, very strong. So there's many different downline products that can be created. So I invite people who want to create a downline hemp business to please come up to White Pine County, and you can create a soap. You can create soaps from it. You can create food and nutritional products from it. We can create hempcrete from it. We can create hemp smokes or hemp things, cigarettes and different things for people who like that. There's abilities to do pet foods and pet products. So we definitely welcome everybody to come up and join us. And I'm just grateful and thankful to have this opportunity. And all the entrepreneurs that are on this call, please work hard, do good for others, and let's serve the state and serve our local communities. Thank you. And I'll turn that over to my Vice President of Operations, Siri Kalsa, and Ordana to introduce Siri Kalsa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guion. Before we introduce Siri, we're going to ask Maggie if she can start the short video, excuse me, and it will give you an insight into our farm. I don't think the video is working, Maggie. Or the audio, sorry.
From the ground up, one of the first and one of the largest vertical organic hemp farms and CBD extraction facilities in the United States. Grown with integrity, engineered for safety, standardization, and compliance, our seed-to-sale supply chain and proprietary SOPs deliver consistency, reliability, and personalized support. Leading the industry through science, experience, and expertise, we are singularly positioned to play a pivotal role in the rise of industrial hemp and CBD as an ingredient. Our dynamic campus, precisely situated at the base of Nevada's Ruby Mountains, is strategically planned, meticulously equipped, and fully dedicated to sustainability and regenerative farming. Comprised of 3,000 USDA certified organic acres of standard-bearing hemp, along with a fully automated 255,000 square foot greenhouse and state-of-the-art quality-controlled processing center. Silver Lion Farms is committed to the earth, our people, and communities we serve. For you, our clients, we continue to advance best-in-class hemp solutions for growers and extractors, as well as the food and beverage, cosmetic, supplement, and pet segments, on time, every time. Helping millions begins with you.
Thank you, Maggie. One of the things I would also like to share with you is the uniqueness about our company is that all of our managers, and not all, but a lot of our managers don't even live in Ely. So we're coming together as a team, and they've sought out expertise from many, many areas. So that's been one of our challenges, is to try and keep our bandwidth going, that we can all communicate, but we're doing a pretty good job about that. The next person I would like to introduce to you is our VP of Operations, Siri Kalsa. And Siri has been on the ground since the day Silver Lion arrived. And the first day I met him was in the library. And then we traveled out to the farm, and it was in January, and they were scraping 24 inches of snow off the dirt. And if you've ever been in Ely winter weather, that was quite a feat. But that was to start the greenhouse, and also to preserve the organic soil that we use to grow our product. Siri is having internet problems, and I think he's on by telephone. Are you on, Siri?
I am. Yes, I'm here by telephone. I was having some issues connecting via the video Zoom, so I can't see everyone's pretty faces, but I am here. Can you hear me, Donna?
Yes, I can hear you. Can everyone hear?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so it's been quite a journey building Silver Lion Farms out here in rural Nevada. Gian touched on many of the difficulties that do exist in being so rural, and we are quite rural and quite far from any town or any city. So it's really taken a lot to be able to overcome all the challenges that are associated with that. And as Donna said from the very beginning, it was a challenge. We chose to start building our 250,000 square foot greenhouse in the dead of winter. We started breaking ground in January of 2019, and as everyone that's spent some time up here and around here knows, that the winters can be quite hellish, and the snow was definitely thick, and it was one of those 100-year winters from what I understand. I hadn't spent much time up here before, but we were not just digging out snow, we were digging out big chunks of ice, and to be able to create the footings and the pads required for us to be able to even be able to start the pads and build up the greenhouse and do our overall foundation. So, and when you're pulling out all of this aggregate and moving all of this soil, you need to find a new fresh aggregate and soil that you'll be able to replace all of that iced aggregate with good solid stone that can get to the level of compaction that can allow for a foundation and a building of this size. So we happen to be at a very difficult, a very interesting point where the government itself was shut down. There was a governmental shutdown by Obama during that period. So we were unable to even find any other dirt or aggregate to be able to replace this. And we needed literally hundreds of thousands of pounds or tons of stone to be able to fill this out. And BLM was shut down. There wasn't anyone that was going to be able to help us. But, you know, being in rural Nevada actually is what saved us in this instance, is that we could reach out to our local neighbors, and that led to our dirt movers at that time, who were looking for the aggregate, to call Donna, who put them in touch with Roger Bauer, who happened to be a geologist, and he was able to locate a private parcel that had very good aggregate and dirt, and that was just 10 miles from our location, and allowed us to be able to open up a dirt mine and be able to get all of the dirt that we needed. So that's one of those things that, you know, if you're in a large city, if we were in Clark County, you're just a number. You don't get that hands-on help from friends and neighbors, and it's something that you require. I mean, every entrepreneur knows that, you know, your business is your baby, and we've all heard that expression, it takes a village. Well, in rural Nevada, your village really becomes your team, and we've really experienced the support of that village to overcome these kind of seemingly impossible odds with the help of our village, and that in this instance has been Ely and White Pine County. Everybody does reach out and helps and seems to know everybody. And further than that, because we're trying to bring in hundreds of thousands of pounds to refill this 6-acre lot with new dirt up to 6-7 feet of dirt and aggregate to fill up, we needed hundreds, literally thousands of trucks to be able to bring in all of the dirt that was required to, and even though it was only 10 miles away, you can only bring, you know, 30 tons per truck, and we need hundreds of thousands. So again, we were able to reach out in this instance to Mr. Lot of Lot Trucking, who happened to have trucks that would flow right by our farm every single day, and they would be going empty on one direction, and we were able to work out a deal with them to be able to just make a swing by our new gravel pit, load up a load for us, bring it, dump it. It took them all of an extra 30 minutes, and it was a win-win for both of us. And that's what helped us to be able to build up and get a standing greenhouse in just a couple of months. So again, it's one of those things where you can reach out to the community, the friends and the family that are going to be able to know someone or know ways and really actually look out for you and find ways to be able to help you. Again, another interesting situation was once we had built up our greenhouse and we planted all of our little hemp plants and our little babies out on our 2,000-acre farm, our 2,500-acre farm, and there was some weed issues and some weed problems. And being so rural, it's hard to get the labor and the people that you need to be able to overcome stuff on such a scale. But again, after reaching out, we were able to find the girls' soccer team who we had made a donation to, and we had an extra 20 hands that were able to come out for a few days and help us to be able to overcome, again, seemingly impossible odds to be able to be successful in building this out here. And that's just one of the points that I would continue to want to just point out, that everyone here is their people, friends, neighbors, family, not just a number, and everybody seems to know everybody. And that is something that really turns out to be a real blessing out here. And you always are going to have if you reach out to your community, and in rural Nevada, that community is a very close-knit community that can definitely go the extra mile to help you, be it for our permitting. In this instance also, we've had fire permit issues, and so we've now set up a substation, or going to be setting up a substation that's a substation fire station out here on our own farm, which is going to both help the community to be able to have a rural fire station, as well as it's going to help us to protect our own crops and be able to overcome some of the permitting issues that can be an issue out in rural Nevada. So everybody here, your village really becomes your team. And I would encourage all of the young entrepreneurs that are out there working or thinking of what their new business or what they're thinking of starting, to make sure that they make their village, their community, part of their project. There's always plenty of stories of difficulties and hardships, from how we got our greenhouse in short order to getting it down here, and so many ways that the community has come up to help us, and it's been nothing but a pleasure to actually do business in this very beautiful valley out here in Steptoe Valley. And I just wanted to say a few short things just about overcoming obstacles with the help of these with the rural communities, and how great it is to be able to know everyone and have everybody know you as well. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to our new CEO, Bob, at this point, and just hand this on. Thank you so much.
Here we are. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited. I've been at Silverline Farms just a couple of months, and I really do believe that the company it's the right business at the right time. And Guion and Siri did a nice job just giving a quick overview. And what I thought I would do is talk a little bit about the bigger picture in terms of entrepreneurship. And to give you a little context, I worked as an executive at a very large company, a car company, for a number of years, and I saw the world changing. And I got very, very excited about working and doing turnarounds at troubled companies and working with entrepreneurs. And I've done that for the last 20 years now. And that took me on quite a journey over 9 countries and 7 different industries. And the thing that I would like to share is I kept being told, Bob, you can't do what you do because it's different in our industry. And I started to realize there are some fundamentals that apply to business, whether you're in biotech or you run an internet company, or whether you're in Australia or you're in America. So I'd like to just go through, and I'd maybe call it the laws, like gravity. Gravity is the same in Australia as it is in New York, as it is in Nevada. So maybe a couple of things I'd like to share. So number one, call them Bob's laws here. Number one is big ideas are great, but execution wins the day. I've heard a lot about the big idea, but a lot of big ideas don't work unless the execution is in place. So as an entrepreneur, and the other thing I should share before I actually get into this, I'm also a tech shark. Think of Shark Tank. I did that for a couple of years in Los Angeles, and I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, saw a lot of pitches. And so everything that I'm saying, that these 5 laws, think of them as things you should consider as an entrepreneur, especially when you're trying to raise money, when you're really trying to get your business off the ground and really realize your dreams. So the first one is about the vision is important. Have the vision, but make sure that you just are tenacious about the execution. I would estimate, based on my experience, 35% of your success is based on the idea, and about 65 is just the nuts and bolts dot connecting execution. And I have a saying that I say a lot that, strategy without execution is a daydream. So just really make sure that you're just connecting all the dots and making it all work. The next thing that's really important is that know who your customer is, know who your market is, because it's, I use the term customer empathy a lot, and it's really putting yourself in the shoes of your customer, and that's know your target customer. And really what you want to do is don't think about products. A lot of entrepreneurs get very excited about their product, and they're selling their features and advantages, maybe features. And it's really important to really think about how you're going to solve the problem. It's either a need or a want of that target market. And there's a concept called design thinking, which is taught at a lot of universities now in graduate programs, especially marketing programs. I'm a big proponent of design thinking, and it's all about starting with the empathy of the customer and the target market. Another one that's really important, and especially when you're talking to investors, make sure that you're talking in terms of an MVP, minimum viable product. Now, this will look a little different by industry. And the bottom line with an MVP is you just want to be able to develop your product or service just enough to demonstrate that it can meet a need or a want. Then you immediately go to your target market and get feedback. And the idea there is to learn, modify before you scale. And a lot of entrepreneurs will scale very, very quickly and scale too soon. And they'll end up spending a lot of money and wasting capital. And if they would have done an MVP, they would have gone through a couple of iterations and then refined the product and then went out to the market and scaled. That's just a much, much better recipe for success. Another thing, this is, call them Bob's laws. Bob's law number 3 is you focus on your core with tenacity. And there's another term I like to use, the shiny object syndrome. Many of you have probably heard about this, where you get so excited about what's happening and then you see all the future opportunities that you lose focus on the core. And then you actually, that lack of focus could sink the ship. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're talking to the capital markets, they're going to have an ear open for this. They want to know that you're very, very focused on achieving a very specific scope. And then with success, you can have a conversation about expansion or diversification. But if you try to do too much too soon, you're going to sink the ship. Another one would be, let's call it law number 4. And this is actually kind of funny, but you got to know how you're going to make money, and you have to be able to articulate exactly how you make money. And it's really interesting. There are a lot of great ideas that are bad businesses. There are a lot of them. And so what the capital markets are going to look for, and what I'm always looking for, is how the company makes money. Can they articulate it clearly? And does it make sense? Is it realistic? Because not just making money, but making net income, you need a bottom line. So you really need to be able to connect the dots exactly. How the market hits the marketplace, at what price points, and you can have estimates, market size, ultimately how you're going to sell it, and how you're going to turn a profit. And it sounds kind of basic, and it is very basic, but it's amazing. In my experience, I know a lot of companies who have been funded and funded handsomely. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, where literally I'll sit with the CEO and start to poke, and he can't answer the basic question, or she can't answer the basic question. So it's really, really important as an entrepreneur and you're given a pitch, talk about how you're going to turn a profit, how you're going to make money. What's the sell through look like? And law number 5 is probably one of the more important ones. They're all important, but you got to be a good steward of the corporate capital. And that means you got to be very careful how you're spending money. Be very frugal and make sure that you're treating it like gold, because most companies will fail because they don't have enough fuel. They don't have enough fuel to get the plane off the ground. They run out of capital. They run out of cash. So if I felt like it might be a good use of my time just to talk about these things. And I've been in multiple countries. I've worked in multiple industries, and these laws hold across the board. And if you can just stay true and really be diligent in these 5 areas, your chance of success goes up dramatically. So I wanted to share that with you today. And I really do believe right now, for lots of reasons, it's a great time to be an entrepreneur. It's a great time. So I want to congratulate all the entrepreneurs out there for taking that brave step. And if you stay with it and you're smart with your capital and you get very focused in these areas, know your customer, the MVP approach, minimum viable product. You focus on the core with tenacity. Don't get distracted. Don't try to do too much too soon. You really get clear about how that business makes money, and you're diligent with your cash. You got a real great opportunity right now in the marketplace to do exceedingly well. So I'd like to end with, it's my pleasure, and I'm very happy to be a part of Silverline Farms. I love Guillaume's vision for this company, and I really do believe Silverline Farm is the right company at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Guillaume and Siri. And Maggie, I think, do we have time for a couple of questions if someone wants to ask some questions?
We do.
Okay.
So people, you can either raise your hand or you can put your questions in chat. And when you do, let us know who you would like to have answer your question or who your question is posed to. Well, let me start. Any one of you can answer the question. You're currently in production with your product. Do you have customers lined up to sell your hemp to already?
Do you want to answer that, Bob or Kian?
Oh, Gian, would you like to take that or would you like me to answer? I'll answer the question. Yeah, we're in the process now. Go ahead, Gian, if you'd like.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, we have to develop the sales and marketing throughput, and we do have customers lined up. You know, with hemp, we have the biomass, and we have to develop the full throughput all the way to creating the distillate, and we're lining up those relationships now. And then also, like I talked about, which is that customer empathy and really understanding your customer. We've been having conversations with some of the large CPG companies out there and really understanding what form they want the product in. So we're in the process now of really putting ourselves in a position to fully meet those needs. Ian, would you like to add to that?
No, that's actually a really great answer. And basically what we're doing is the laws are slowly beginning to change, and we are working with the Nevada State Legislature as well as with our members in the Senate and in Congress to actually help change the laws around CBD and hemp to make it an actual food and beverage viable product. You'll see tons of products that are actually out there on the market already. A lot that have CBD in them or have different derivatives of CBD in it. And what we're looking at is working with the largest CPG companies in the world for beauty, for health, for beverages. CBD is actually going to be in just about every product you could imagine as soon as we can get these laws changed. And there is a law currently that they're working on, Congress is working on to make that change. And we want all of our Nevada representatives to actually please sign on to that bill. And let's help change that so that CBD can be viable in food and beverage products, because as soon as they make that change to make it a food ingredient or a supplement ingredient, it will open up many jobs. It'll create so many downline products. It'll create all kinds of new innovative CPG products out there for the industry. So yeah, we're working with several large beauty, pet, food, supplement, beverage companies that want to be putting CBD. They've already got it in their product development. They're already working with it, and they're just waiting for the laws to change.
Okay, I have another question then. You mentioned the biomass. So in my head, that means that you're kind of harvesting stuff like hay, and then you're processing it and you're getting a distillate out of it, but you're still going to have like leftover stuff. Is that stuff the part that goes into making hempcrete? Because it seems like you could be using almost all the parts of the plant. Can you tell us more about that?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, that's what makes this plant such an amazing thing. It's a shame that back in the 1920s and up into 1940s, hemp was actually being used for paper products. It was being used for plastics. It was being used for rope. It was being used for cloth. They used hemp oil for lamps. to actually as an actual energy source. It was being the hemp seed was being used for protein and for creating oil to actually cook with. And so yes, the actual stalks or the dried portion of the stalk that we don't use within the hempcrete, we use the flower and the leaf for CBD. All of that extra stem that is left over has an amazing fiber value to it. The tensile strength and the strength of the fiber in hemp is pretty remarkable. And yes, it can be used in hempcrete, and actually our byproduct from our farm can be mixed with lime from the lime factory in Wendover and create hempcrete blocks right here near the farm, and create housing materials for everybody.
I see Siri is muted. Did you have more to add?
I would like to, yeah, I wanted to add on to that as well, because we've actually been in conversations with a shrimp farm that wants to be able to feed shrimp to Las Vegas. That's the largest shrimp market in the world. And Ely is perfectly situated in order to be able to feed that Las Vegas market. So John, who has a unique technology for a unique method of growing the shrimp, wanted to set up shop here in Ely and wanted to do a cross business with us to actually take our roots and our stalks and other parts that he would be using to burn to heat his shrimp farm. And in exchange for that, they would be giving us their organic shrimp poop that would be changed into a form of char that we would be able to add onto our fields, and that would over time would start to change the entire microenvironment of the soil as well. So the reason that hemp is so good is because of all the reasons that Guion pointed out there. It is a fantastic long burning fibrous material that would allow them to be able to use our roots and our stalks and any parts that may be wasted from within our greenhouse or wherever, to be able to heat that shrimp farm and be able to build up market here. And one of the problems that they had with being able to build up the business here is being able to get a cheap source of fuel to be able to heat that. So that's another use of the extra stalks and stems, and another way that we can do cross business right out here in rural Nevada.
That's fascinating. Thank you.
Maggie, I've got a quick question if I can.
Let's make it quick, Sheldon. We're almost on 10, so go ahead.
Okay. So real quick, gentlemen, we mentioned some of the obstacles of doing business out in rural Nevada, and a lot of people are naturally aware of what some of those obstacles are. What would you say are some of the biggest advantages, or what is the biggest advantage that might at very least balance that out or make it more attractive to come to a rural area, either to start a business or relocate? What are the primary benefits to doing business in rural Nevada?
I can take that one, and then Bob can actually chime in too, just from what he's already witnessed so far. First of all, again, it's the village, the people, the communities, the county councils, the city councils, the support system really is been phenomenal. I know that you cannot get this kind of outreach in a lot of other states. I've tried. I've worked in probably 20 some odd states over the last 30 years. And I've never had the kind of support that I've had here. So more than anything else, I would say that village, because you're rural, everybody here knows everybody. Everybody here wants to help everybody. I have people drop by the farm who are just curious, who have heard about it. And, we want to show everybody everything that we're doing, because it's such an it's such a big such a big farm and it's such a big task that we're undertaking. But I would say that more than anything else, it's also the Economic Development Council and the economic development in general. I think that if we spend more time with these types of events and encouraging local entrepreneurs with what really is available here, sometimes people get into the doldrums and they don't realize the tools that they have just through their local community that can inspire them to create a new business. And I think it's really the village more than anything else.
Yeah, I would like to add as well that I've lived all over the United States as well, and I know a lot of government officials in different states, and I can tell you that the government support in Nevada and the banking support in Nevada is fantastic. I see the government and the government in particular is invested in the success of these companies. And I can tell you there are some other states where these businesses are successful in spite of what the government is doing. And so that's a big one. And the other one is taxes. You know, this is a low cost tax state, and that is very conducive. That's a nice tailwind for a business starting up in Nevada.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the information that this has started our day with a wonderful concept of not what is against us, but what can be for us.